In this video, we want to find the exact value of a trig expression that involves an inverse trig function. So we look at the first one, and this one states sine. So number one, we want to find the sine 2 times sine inverse of 1/2. So one way we can do this, the sine inverse of 1/2 actually means an angle whose sine is 1/2. So if I call this inverse expression theta, this would be then 2 or sine of 2 theta. Now a couple of ways I could do this. One way I could simply say, let's do it this way, theta equals to the sine inverse of 1/2. Take the sine of both sides, and I get the sine of theta then. The sine of the right side, of course, because it's inverse, cancels the inverse function and just gives me 1/2. So that's what this means. When you have sine inverse of 1/2, it simply means the angle whose sine is 1/2. So that means that the sine of theta has to equal to 1/2. So if the sine of theta is equal to 1/2, then theta has to be what? Don't need a calculator for that. That's one of your basic angles, 30 degrees. Now remember, when the sine of an angle is positive, there's 2 angles that satisfy that condition. There's an angle also in the second quadrant that will work. 180 minus 30, that would be 150. So that would be a possible solution. But remember, we're dealing with inverse here, and the inverse function has a range that goes from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. So negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So we have to stay in that range. So in this case, we can only use the 30 degrees. The 150 we can't use. So this then, I can just rewrite it and say this then means it's the sine of 30 times 2, which is 60. And the sine of 60 does have an exact value. You can use your 30-60 reference triangle, and this comes out to the square root of 3 over 2. So that would be the exact value. Okay, let's clear this. In the next one, I want the tangent of 2 times cosine inverse of negative 3/5. Well, again, this is really an angle. It's asking you for the angle whose cosine is negative 3/5. So this one's a little bit different than the other one. So I'm still going to call this cosine theta here. So doing the same thing I did in the previous problem, I can say that means that the cosine of theta will equal to negative 3/5. Be negative 3/5. So I can say then that cosine is the adjacent over the opposite. If you look at a triangle, the 5 would represent the hypotenuse. So let me just say x then should be equal to negative 3. And r should be 5. And if I form us just like the unit circle, I could just call this a circle with radius 5. So this would be 25. X squared would be 9. That would be have y squared equals to 25. So solving for y, subtract 9 from both sides, so I get y squared is equal to 16. Take the square root of both sides. So y could equal to 4. Or it could be negative 4. But I'm dealing with cosine inverse here for the angle, so the range for cosine goes from 0, cosine inverse I should say, the range goes from 0 to pi. So the angle has to be either quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. Well, because the x is negative, it's going to be either in quadrant 1 or 3. Coming this way. But again, the range is from 0 to pi, so we're restricted for quadrant 2. So we know then that x is equal to negative 3, y equal to 4. So then for this one, to simplify this, so we'll be using this formula right here. Formula for 2 tangent, because that's what this is, tangent of 2, and it's an angle, so it's this formula right here. So we would have to say then, okay, twice the tangent of that angle. So tangent is the y coordinate over the x, so the y is 4, so this would be 4. Over the x, which is a negative 3. I just put the negative up here. And in the bottom then, I'll have 1 minus, and then it's tangent squared, so it's just going to be this squared, which will be 16 over 9. So simplifying this then, we got 2 times this fraction here, that's going to give us negative 8. For 3. And here find the LCD here. Multiply this one by 9, numerator and denominator, so I get 9 over 9. So 9 over 9 minus 16 over 9 gives me negative 7 over 9. And of course the negatives will cancel out here. So this should give me then 8/3. Invert and multiply here. 8/3 should equal to 9 over 7. 3 divides here with 1 3 there. I get a 3 left over. I get 24 over 7. So the exact value for this is 24 over 7. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.